Hello, everyone. This is Naomi Eccles-Irwin from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Assistant Director of the Texas Short Film Festival. Right now, we're gearing up for our Fall 2023 screening, which is going to take place on October 14th at the Slab Cinema Arthouse Theater in San Antonio, Texas. And today, we're talking with one of our participating filmmakers. Krystle Noel is the director behind I Hope You Stay. Krystle, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Thank you for having me, Xiaomi. I'm excited to be here.
This is a really interesting film because it's short. It's like 5.5 minutes, but it packs in so much, and it kind of has quite a narrative trajectory just in that small frame. And I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to make this film?
Sadly, it is based on a true story. It was my nephew that passed away, and the first, the next grandson, the next nephew, when they were born, it was actually me who was holding him. His name was Archer. For the first time, we were by ourselves in the backyard, and I just said out loud, "I hope you stay." And really, I wanted this story to come from the point of view of his sister, which is Kennedy Webb, and she plays Maddie. And in real life, that's Liam's sister, my nephew that passed away. So I think she really pulled from life with that.
Wow. Well, it's a difficult subject. I want to know, what is it like writing from a kind of a personal standpoint?
Honestly, I'm not usually for it. I mean, I don't mind pulling bits and pieces from life. This is probably the closest I would get to real life, but I thought it was important to show the POV of the teenager, the sister. You know, we often see the full family dynamic and we often see the parents struggle,
Right.
but just being a witness to the entire family struggling is a trauma in and of itself. And I wanted to represent that.
Absolutely. Well, it is a cathartic experience to watch, and hopefully it felt kind of good to get that off your chest. And there's something really, I don't know, sort of pure about the sentiment. I hope you stay, and it's kind of continues to echo out after watching the film. I'm curious, what was it like working with such a young cast, especially one of the little girls is quite young. What was that like?
We had a 9-year-old, and then we had a 2-year-old, and of course an infant.
Right.
The 2-year-old was probably the hardest. She didn't want to be there. You see her like twice. And I knew if I needed to cut her out, I could, but the point was that there was many um, granddaughters, and to kind of build up that dynamic of finally another boy.
Right.
But she was okay. She got the shots I needed in, and I talked her through a lot of it. I'm like, oh, play with the blocks. And Presley, who plays Hannah, the 9-year-old, she was just excited to be there. She couldn't wait to hold the baby in real life because that was my nephew Grayson. So these were like all the kids were all my family members, and it really just came out of necessity. There's not very many. It's very difficult to get that many
Right.
child actors on the same day.
Totally.
But again,
Well,
I was really lucky that Kennedy was able to express so subtly the character. I really love that.
yeah, and it's really interesting. Normally, I praise the chemistry when the acting's really good, but I feel like what here isn't quite chemistry. It's I guess it's an authentic family dynamic.
Yeah.
But I think kind of the takeaway for me from this is that everyone's kind of stratified in their own pockets. The intercommunication is a little bit weak, and everyone's kind of feeling their own thing. I'm curious in particular with the character of the grandfather.
Mhm.
He says something that puts a lot of people on edge, and it's kind of lack of sensitivity. I'm curious about his character a little bit and what you were going for with him.
So again, everyone is in their little pockets because everyone grieves differently. And
Right.
when you're grieving, you're not really thinking about the others. Like, you know, they're grieving too, but you're not really focused there because you're the one
Okay.
trying to heal. So with the grandfather, it was important to me to not make it seem like rude. Like he
Right.
was obviously like, finally another boy. Like it's more like excitement. Finally it'll be nice. Like
Right.
what a great like expansion of our family. It's just not expressed very tactfully.
Right.
So again, I feel like for him, it's not meant to sound like a slight, which obviously it is taken as one.
Right.
It's more meant of our family is growing and we get another family member and it's like another grandson to connect with, as opposed to, oh, I'm so sick of these girls.
Right.
I'm ready to replace the last
Totally.
grandson.
Well, I love that because there's nothing super black and white about this. It's not a clear portrayal of, tactlessness and kindness or whatever. This is very subtle and nuanced, and it really seems like kind of just this exploration of grief in various forms.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, one thing I'm interested with is, even though it's an ensemble cast, Kennedy, of course, feels kind of like the main character, and we stick with her quite a bit. But it is interesting because she is so silent of a character. She doesn't have many lines, and there is so much that she's doing with her kind of nuanced expressions. And it sounds like that came pretty naturally. But what was directing Kennedy like for a role like that?
Um, Initially, I think she had two other extra lines, but I felt like it was more impactful to keep her line at the end, because she is like a typical teenager, kind of quiet anyway.
Right.
But when I was talking to her, I did tell her not to overdo it. I'm like, this is very subtle. We will catch everything on camera. Just really try and, keep in touch with those feelings that you already are familiar with. And I'm sure it'll show on camera. And she was a natural at it, to the point where I was surprised I didn't have to like pull anything extra out of her. Um, so sometimes I would talk her through the scene, like, this might be what you're thinking.
Right.
But outside of that, she was great on her own. I was so pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, the result is really phenomenal, and it's really important with such a short drama film to capture all that nuance, and you definitely
Mhm.
do. I'm curious, what did you learn from this process? Do you have any new insights on directing, writing?
Well, I will say like the biggest theme was you can't prepare for everything.
Mm,
I really did try to like, as like perfectionist. I want to make sure I have a plan and a backup plan and a backup plan. And um, in fact, it wasn't originally supposed to be raining, but the day of our filming, it was. And we were fortunate that there was a covered porch
oh
to
yeah,
replace like a backyard scene. But I think it ended up for the better. And so I think my biggest lesson is let the spontaneity come through, because it can make your already great project an even greater project.
totally. Well, I love that. Yeah, preparing as much as you can kind of allows you, I think, to improvise a little bit and accept little things that you can't change. And I mean, and it's great. You open up on the rain. It kind of sets the tone right away. It's a hopeful film, but with the background of that kind of rainy, sad
Yeah.
day.
Like it's
Um,
an exciting day because there's a new grandbaby,
right,
but it's bittersweet.
totally. Well, so Crystal, what are you working on next? Do you have any more shorts in the works right now?
Shorts, I feel like I have two or three short ideas, but nothing quite as developed as a feature idea I have. But I do want to do more shorts, to kind of knock them out. But the feature length I'm working on is actually kind of a, Hallmark Christmas movie vibe,
Okay.
where it's called I'll Be Home for Chris. And so this city girl who is all about independence finds out her high school crush is going to be back in her hometown. So she decides to go home for Christmas, but she has been very distant with her family for years. So she kind of mocks that family unit. And so while simultaneously trying to get close to this guy, Chris, she ends up reconnecting with her family and valuing that importance as well.
Oh my God, I love that.
Thanks.
That sounds great. So she's forced to kind of confront her family, which she hasn't done, but in order to actually reconnect.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of like reconnection, love, family tradition. You know, the thing with traditions is they lose their meaning only if
Mm,
you forget why they started.
right.
And so I feel like that's going to be representative of her character and her family altogether. She forgot why they matter so much and why the
Totally.
traditions matter.
Well, that's a great concept. And I feel like bringing your kind of touch of nuance, it would be a fantastic film. And you said drama. Would this be like a dramedy? Is there any room for comedic stuff, or
Yeah, of course. In fact, why I reference Hallmark movies, there's going to be like a quirky, cheesy comedy throughout.
okay,
She's goofily trying to reconnect with this guy,
totally.
and then the heart starts flowing through. So
Okay,
I would say it's like a dramedy, maybe in that it's this rom com mixed with family reconnection, like the heart of the film.
okay, totally. Well, I love that. That's so exciting.
Thank
And so, where are you at in that project? Are you just
I
developing
have
the
the
cast
rough
right now?
draft
Okay,
complete.
cool.
So a lot more planning to go, but
Right,
I'm really excited about the concept and the ideas, and yeah,
totally. Well,
it's
that's so
fun.
exciting. It's good that you're keeping momentum up on these projects.
Yeah,
Is there anything else you'd like to add about I Hope You Stay?
I just think a lot of people can relate to those feelings, not just the different family members, but not just a tragic death like with a child, but anyone who's ever grieved can at least connect with one of the characters in their process of how they grieve, and they can feel seen in that there's not only one way to grieve, it expresses itself in different forms.
Absolutely. I think it's a very strong film, and I think people are really going to take something from it. And even though it's short and sweet. It
Yeah.
has a big impact, and I'm really excited to play this on October 14th at the
Yeah,
Texas
I'm
Film
excited to
Festival.
go. It's
It's
so
going to be fun.
surreal because this is actually my first solo project. Like I wrote
Okay.
and directed this and produced it. Um, but I've helped others bring their films to life, which has been rewarding. But it's different when it's yours.
Totally.
And
This is your solo debut.
yes, yes,
Exciting.
yeah.
Okay, well, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Crystal, thank you so much for talking with me today, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about this feature.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I'm just so grateful that you reached out to me and I can just share this project with everyone. I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Well, take care, Crystal.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye.
Bye.